good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever may be watching this video from. This is Cornelius Subinda with another video, and in this video we are going to continue and move on. This is Additional Mathematics Paper 1 2024 GCE. Okay, so we have answered questions 1 to 10. In this video we are going to answer question 11 and question 12, the last two questions. This paper, as usual, is 2 hours. Question 11, A reads, integrate 3x squared minus 18 divided by x squared with respect to x. This is carrying 2 marks. So this is question 11A. So 3x squared minus 18 divided by x squared. Okay, so we write that down. This is question 11A. We have 3x squared minus 8 divided by x squared, like that, dx. Of course, we are taking the integral of this. Let's just confirm. We are supposed to be 18x 3x squared minus 18x, like that. This is only carrying 2 marks, very basic. So it's the same as writing is equal to the integral of 3x squared minus 18x to the power negative 2 dx, like that. Then to continue, you now integrate, so it will be equal to a 3x power 2 plus 1 is a 3 divided by 3 minus 18x power negative 2 plus 1 will be power negative 1 divided by negative 1, like that. And then here you can start cancelling out, so a 3 can go into a 1, into 3 it's a 1. What I remain with is equal to x cubed, and then here you can see that there's a negative there, so it will be plus 18 x to the power negative 1, the same as writing is equal to x cubed plus 18 divided by x, arbitrary constants c, like that. And then that would be your answer to that particular question. Then you have B. Find the diagram below shows the part of a curve y is equal to x squared, and then y plus x squared is equal to 8 intersecting at A and B. Question A says find the coordinates of A and B carrying 2 marks. So where the two curves intersect, you have the first one, y is equal to x squared, and then y plus x squared equals 8. So this is question 11B1. So B1, we have y is equal to x squared, and then you have y plus x squared is equal to 8, like that. And then to continue, since you already know what y is from this equation, you will just say that let y be equal to x squared in, you have y plus x squared equals 8. So if y is x squared, it will be x squared plus x squared equals 8. Then 2x squared equals 8. They divide both sides by 2 by 2. 2 can go into itself a 1 into 4 8. So you have x squared is equal to 4 apply the square root to both sides of the equation. You have x is equal to plus or minus 2 as your answers. Then you will simply say when x is equal to positive 2 in y. So it means you're going to say y is equal to a positive 2 squared, y is equal to 4. Then when x is equal to a negative 2 in y, so y is equal to a negative 2 in brackets squared, which will just also give you a 4. So you have the same answer like that. You have a 4 there, a 4 there. Then you look at the question once again, which gave you the coordinates of A. So A was on the negative side, and then B was on the positive side. You would conclude by saying, therefore, A, which is on the negative side, would be a negative 2, 4, and B would be a positive 2, 4, like that, and then you get your 2 marks, simple as that. Then the next one is the area of the shaded region. As you can see, this question is carrying 6 marks because it is quite involving. So what should you take into account? So you can see that if you find the area under this curve, y plus, let me just show it, this one here, y plus x squared is equal to 8. If you find the area, it means you also find this part underneath there. So it means you also find the area there inclusive. So if you subtract the area of, let me clean up now. So again, there is this curve, y is equal to x squared. If you find the area under it, between A and B, it will also be that same one. So it's simply the area, the total area that you find under the curve, the first one here, which is that one. Then you subtract whatever you find under the second one, which is that, for x squared, and then you manage the shaded region, as easy as that. So that is the procedure we will follow in this question. So we need to establish a top function, we need to establish a bottom function. So the top function will be y plus x squared is equal to 8. Will be the top function. So we move on. This is a 2, where we are saying y plus x squared is equal to 8. This one we are saying is our top function, and then we are saying y is equal to x squared. This one will be our bottom function. Then the area. So how do we proceed from there? We are finding the integral of the area under the curve with reference to the x-axis. So it means we need to have an equation in y. So we'll have the first equation, y is equal to 8 minus x squared, and then you have y, so this we can call it our 1. This is our 1, and then y is equal to x squared, we can call it our 2. Then to integrate, area will be equal to the integral from, so what are we integrating from? So it's between a and b, where we know that our a is a negative 2, b is a positive 2. So integral from negative 2 to positive 2 of the first function which we can call our y, right? So we have the first function, which is our y1, and which is the top one, minus y2. This is with respect to x. So it's going to be equal to the integral from -2 to +2 over our top function, which was the y is equal to 8 minus x squared. So let's just write square brackets from -2 to 2. Then you have a y is equal to 8 minus x squared. That's one function, minus the bottom one, which was just x squared. So I don't think there's need to put it in brackets because just x squared, like that, dx. Okay, like that. So it will simply be equal to the integral from -2 to 2. Then you're going to have 8 minus x squared minus x squared dx. To continue, you are going to have to simplify, where it will still be the integral from -2 to 2 of 8 minus 2x squared dx. Now we can integrate, so it will be equal to, substitute the limit, the upper limit first, so it will be 8 minus 2 multiplied by a positive 2 squared, like that, minus 8 minus 2 multiplied by a -2 squared, like that. So it says equal to, if we simplify, it will be 8 minus, here we have a 2. 2 squared is also a, if you take note, you have a 2, and then a 2 squared is a +4. -2 times the +4 is a -8, and then you have minus in parentheses, you have 8 -2 again multiplied by a +4. In this particular case, you are going to have a negative 8, like that. And then to continue, as you can see the way it's going, it will have 0 minus that, giving you that. Okay. Just pardon me there, got a bit ahead of myself there, so I was just thinking that I forgot to do something. Okay, so here at this stage we did our simplification very well, but we didn't integrate, we just started substituting the limits. Sorry for that. The supposed to be is equal to 8x. Okay, 8x minus, we're going to have a 2x power 3 divided by 3, and then you say from -2 to 2. So this will be equal to this, yeah, you substitute the limits now. I thought I did done it. Yeah, so just forgive me for that one. Okay, minus 8 multiplied by a -2, and then minus a 2, -2 cubed divided by a 3. Okay, so that's why it gave us a weird answer. Yeah, so is equal to, in this bracket we will have 8 times a 2, which is a 16, and then the same 16 times a 3 is going to give you 48. Going to have 48 over 3, then 2 divided by 2 cubed is going to be 16 minus 16 over 3 minus negative 16. Let's just do what we did this side, so it will be negative 48 over 3. It's the same as negative 16. I'm just doing this in fraction to simplify. Then here it will be plus, because of the odd power, so it will be plus. So 2 multiplied by a negative 2 multiplied by a negative 2 cubed, which is positive 16 over 3. Like that. Yes, we're going to have 48 minus 16. It's going to give you 32 over 3. Positive 32 over 3 minus, in this bracket, negative. It's the same answer, but negative 32 over 3. And then, as we can see, it's going to give us a normal answer, not the answer I found. It's like I integrated in my head, so it gave me a wrong answer because I did not follow the correct working. Okay, 64 divided by 3. You say therefore so it would be equal to 64 over 3. Then you put a comma. Therefore area is equal to 64 over 3 can also be written as what? 64 divided by 3 as a 21 remainder 1 over 3. 21 remainder 1 over 3 units squared, and this would be your final answer. So take note, that's a 1 over 3 units squared. That is supposed to be your answer. And then now we move on to the last question. Solutions to this question by scale drawing will not be accepted. In the following diagram, CM is a perpendicular bisector of AB, and BC is parallel to the line with the equation like that. The coordinates of A are given as 0, 2 and B 4, 0 respectively. They want to find the coordinates of C. So this first question was carrying a lot of marks, as you can see. It was carrying a lot of marks. 7 marks to find the coordinates of C because of how involving it is. So what do we need to know about finding the coordinates of C? So we need to know the equation of the line CM and then the equation of the line BC. Solve them simultaneously, and then they'll give us the coordinates of C there. Now how do we know that? How do we proceed, I mean? So they say that BC, okay, B to C is parallel to the line with that particular equation. So we would start from there. So this is question 12A. Question 12A. Then you have 5y is equal to 5x. This is the only thing I remember. Is equal to 5x. And then what else is in the question? 5x plus 4. So you have 5x plus 4. BC is parallel to this. So 5y is equal to 5x plus 4. You divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5. You're going to have, sorry for that, accidentally saved the document. So we're going to have y is equal to 5 into itself a 1 into itself a 1. So it's x plus 4 over 5. So it's parallel. It means the gradient of BC is equal to 1. So we said we need to know the equation of BC. We already know the coordinates of B, which if I remember well are 4, 0, and M is equal to a 1. Okay, so let's just counter check. As you can see there, B is 4, 0. So I don't need necessarily to know the coordinates of C to find the equation of BC. You only need this coordinate and the gradient. So you say x, y, and you can use the slope or gradient intercept form. Y is equal to mx plus c. Simple as that. And then since I've said x, y there, it's going to become what? Where there's a y, you put a 0, m, which is a 1, x, which is a 4, plus c. So you're going to have negative 4 is equal to c as your, in this case, it is your y-intercept. So what do you do here? You say y is equal to x minus 4 is your equation 1. And then we need to think of a way of finding the equation of the other line. In this case, the other line was what? The other line was MC. How can we find the equation of MC? This one is involving to find the equation of MC. Why? Because in the question we are told CM, saying it in alphabetical order, like that, CM is perpendicular to the line joining AB and BC. So if it's perpendicular, just know that it bisects the line. Alright, since we're saying it bisects the line, it means that it cuts the line in half. Therefore, the coordinates of M are the midpoint, is the midpoint of the line joining A and B. And then another thing you need to know is that to find the gradient, it will be the gradient of CM is perpendicular to the gradient of AB. So if we do all that, it means we'll find our equation 2, and then we can solve equation 1 and equation 2 simultaneously and find our final answer. So what should we do? Let's start by finding the coordinate. So A is 0, 2. Okay, so I have A 0, 2, B 4, 0. This is your x1, your y1, x2, your y2. The domain M is equal to y2 minus y1. You divide by x2 minus x1. Your M would be equal to your y2, which is 0, y1 2, x2 4, x1 0. Like that. So it means you're going to have M1, let's name the coordinate, is equal to 0 minus 2, negative 2. 4 minus 0 is a 4. You're going to have a negative 1 over 2 as your M1 when you simplify. And then to continue, you already know that your M1 is negative 1 over 2. M2 is equal to negative 1 divided by M1. Or you can say M1 times M2 gives you negative 1. So I'm going to say is equal to negative 1 divided by M1, negative 1 over 2. To continue, negative 1 times you have a 2 over negative 1 over negative 1 like that. So you are going to have m2 is equal to a positive 2. Okay, that's the gradient we are going to use because the gradient of the perpendicular bisector. And then a midpoint of AB we also need to know. So midpoint of AB is equal to x1 plus x2 comma y1 plus y2. So that's supposed to be a 2. 2. Yeah, divide by 2 there, divide by 2 there. Simple as that. Okay. Which is equal to x1 0 plus 4, x1 0, x2 4, divide by 2, y1 is where is it? I'm trying to find it. I can't seem to. Oh yeah, okay. y1 is a 2 plus 0. Right over there. y1 is a 2, y2 is a 0. Divide by 2. And then we're going to say is equal to 4 divided by 2, comma 2 divided by 2. It's going to outright give you a 2, 1. So midpoint of A, B is going to give you 2, 1. As simple as that. So into itself a 1, into that a 2, then into that a 1, into that a 1, 2, 1, midpoint of AB to be your answer. And then after find the midpoint of AB, that's the coordinate we need. So 2, 1, like that. Your M2, which was a positive 2, then that will be x, y. So you're going to have a y is equal to mx plus c. So a y, which is a positive 1, is m2 x, which is also happening to be a 2 plus c. So you're going to have 1 is equal to 2 times 2, 4 plus c. And then you're going to remain with what? C is equal to a 1 minus 4, which is negative 3. And then you have y is equal to 2x minus 3 as your equation 2. We solve them simultaneously, where we have a y. First equation was what? Y is equal to x minus 4 is equal to x minus 4, and then a y is equal to 2x minus 3. Let's first of all set the equations up in the correct way. So you have y minus x is equal to negative 4. Y minus 2x is equal to a negative 3. Then, okay, let's subtract to eliminate the y. So you will say negative 1 plus 2, or negative x plus 2x. You're going to remain with what? X, which is equal to, here you have a negative 4 plus 3, a negative 1. And then you're going to say I'm going to go this side. We're trying to maximize space, so we'll say when x is equal to negative 1 in y is equal to x minus 4. So y is equal to negative 1 minus 4. Y is equal to negative 5, like that. And therefore your C will be what? these are the coordinates of C. Therefore, your C is a -1, -5 as your final answer. And if you follow the working or the methods given, you would get your 7 marks. So let's try to see how the question was. So they said C, and if you look at C, where it's positioned at this part of the XOY plane, where we have our C there. So this part is negative part of the x-axis, the negative part of the y-axis, and we found 2 coordinates that gave us a negative solution, proving that our working is correct. Okay, what's another thing we can do? Another thing we can do is we concentrate now on the AB. Okay, we are done. Question B reads, find the area of the triangle ABC. Triangle ABC. So you can't see the line joining A and C. We can just join it ourselves. We can just draw your own dotted line so that you don't get confused. Or we can try to draw a straight line. Yeah, so let's try to connect the two. How should I do it? Something like that. Okay, so this is just how it's supposed to look, something like that. A triangle ABC, and then what are we going to do? We are trying to find the area of the triangle. So we can use many methods here, but many of which would be time wasting. The best method to use is this one. You count the number of coordinates present. There are 3 coordinates present, and then you identify what we call a reference point. For example, you can start from B, and then you start going anti-clockwise, which is in that direction. I don't know how you pronounce it. You can say anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise also okay. So you go in that direction. What do I mean you go in that direction? You pick B, then you pick A, then you pick C. Very important, those points I've noted. For example, if you are to start, and another thing to note is when you pick B, you pick A, you pick C, again, you come back and pick the reference point where I started from. If that is confusing, let me do it again. You pick A, then, so this is the reference point, since I started from A. And we are going anti-clockwise. We pick C, we pick B, and then again we go back to A. That is what we are going to do. And then we are going to use a certain formula. So we're going to start from B 0,4 to A, which is what? A, which is B 4,0, and then A 0,2. I'm going to have chose B. I want to start from B, so I believe the space won't be enough. So let us try to add a page, just one, add. Okay, so I'm just trying to add the page there. We have added the page successfully. To continue, we write B. I hope the explanation was clear. So B area is equal to half the modulus of our reference point. We can call it x naught y naught, then x1 y1. So our reference point is the first point, then x1 y1, then the third one x2 y2. So we end on a 2, so it's starting from 0 as our first one, the 1 is our second, the 2 is our third point. Take note, don't get confused there. So we are going to have x naught y naught, because I say you come back to the starting point like that. So it's going to be equal to half the modulus of the first point. Reference point was 4, 0. The next one was 2, 0. She followed very well. So we had a 4, 0, 2, 0, then C, negative 1, 5. Sorry, not 2, 0. I just thought of it. Sorry for that. Half modulus of x naught, y naught, x1, y1, x2, y2. You end at a 2, then you repeat the reference point. Okay, it's going to be equal to half modulus of 4, 0. Then since it was on the y-axis, 0, 2, and then you're going to have negative 1, negative 5, and again 4, 0. Hope that's clear. Then you start multiplying diagonals. Is equal to 1 over 2. So what do? We start multiplying across. We'll go like this, like that, where we're going to have not like that. We're going to have what? 4 times 2 is 8. 0 times negative 5 is 0. Did I do this properly? Let's... Oof. I've removed what I wrote. Okay. So is equal to... Where did we end? We wrote the coordinates. 4, 0, 0, 2, negative 1, 5, and then again a 4, 0. Actually, how you're supposed to move is like this. So you will say 1 over 2 modulus, open bracket like that. You go across. So from a 4 to a 2, 0 to a negative 5, like that. I didn't draw the lines properly in the beginning. Yeah. And then it's gonna be 8 plus 0. Then the last one again, negative 1 times 0 is also a 0. Minus. It's also carrying 3 marks because you just need to know the formula, and as you can see, the solutions are very easy. 0, so I start going across. Let me not write it first. Across, how do we go across? We say 0 times 0, 2 times negative 1, 5 times 4. In which we're going to have 0 times 0 is a 0. 2 times negative 1, negative 2. Let me just write it. Yeah, negative 2. Then here I'm going to have a negative 5 times positive 4, which is negative 20. And then you can close the modulus like that. Why we say modulus? Because sometimes you can have a negative answer, but we ignore the negative. So here I'm going to use an answer of 8, and then here you have a negative 2 minus 20. You're going to have a negative 22, and then because of this negative, it's going to become positive 22. So it's going to be plus 22, which is equal to half of 30. And then you would conclude that area is equal to 15. Is that how you conclude? You would say units squared. Or another way of writing, other people like to write 15 square units. So you can abbreviate the word square, SQ, 15 square units or 15 units squared. Same thing, so just different way of writing. So this marks the end of the video, and we have successfully answered the 2024 paper 1 GCE. Coming up next will be the 2024 paper 2 GCE, and then from there we'll go to the mathematics papers. Then again we'll come back to additional mathematics. We'll just be interchanging. Finish a year, we go to mathematics, finish a year, additional mathematics, just like that. As you can see, we integrated nicely there and find the area. We made a mistake somewhere, but we corrected it in good time. We found the correct answer, 21 and the third, and then we also found that. So I didn't even actually need to add the page, so I can remove the page. All I can say is thank you so much for watching this video. This has been Cornelius with another video, and bye bye.